Corinthians chapter 4, verse 1 and 2, saying that financial is not a forget. Hey there. Welcome to the Radical Godly Stewardship Podcast. Take two. I don't know what happened on Facebook, but it just cut out, and I just got this thing that say, oh, your stream may have ended on Facebook, and then you can't really just kind of add it back. It's like you got to start all over, right? So that's what we're going to do, because I'm determined to say what I have to say today. Okay, so welcome back. If you were here and watching the first time, particularly on the other platforms, YouTube and LinkedIn and all of that, I apologize. But here we are. Okay, so welcome. This is the place where kingdom finance meets bold faith. If you're tired of doing money the world's way and you are ready to let God take the lead, then you're in the right place. Okay, and I am Dr. Lexi Johnson, your hostess with the mostest. And this show is going to equip you to produce, multiply, and dominate God's way. So let's jump in. And I think this time, or at least right now, normally I would play like a commercial. I'm not going to do that. I already did it this last time. This is take two. I'm just going to get right into it, okay? All right. So I was saying this. Do not let the holiday season steal your stewardship, all right? Because right now, today, financial warfare is fully activated. And most people may not think so, because this is the season of, gratefulness and family and holiday cheer and all that kind of stuff. And so you don't recognize it, right? But Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, holiday travel, gifts, sales, deals, all that stuff, we think it's harmless. We think it's, what is the song say? The best time of the year, right? It's the best. The most wonderful time of the year, right? That's what we think, right? And so we are distracted, we are blinded by all of that. And so we don't really think that these traditions are harming us in some sense. And so I'm here to tell you that they're not harmless, okay? Let me adjust my camera a little bit. They're not harmless. I'm not saying, that I'm not telling you what to do in terms of celebrating them or not. That's between you, your God, and your family. Okay. But I do want to point out some things that you need to be aware of. This camera, for goodness sake. There we go. Some things that you need to be aware of during this time. Okay. And I want you to know that these are purposefully laid financial traps. They are, whether you like to hear it or not. Okay. Engineered by the world, disguised as celebration, and designed to drain the people of Yah quietly and repeatedly, because year after year after year after year, people keep, ending up in the same mess. And today we're going to expose it. Okay. Now, of course, there are some of you out there, you've learned, right? And so, you're not falling for it anymore, or you're smarter about how you plan for this season, and that's great. But there are still a plethora of people, too many people, okay, who are falling for it year after year after year. So we're going to talk about it today. Before we do, though, let's do our stewardship check-in, and I'm going to ask you a few questions to see how you have done this week in stewarding your money. All right. Now, before I do, if you're watching, let me know who you are and where you're watching from. Do me a favor, share this out. Okay. I know what I'm going to be saying, what I have said, and what I'm going to continue to say in this episode is not popular, but it needs to be heard. Okay. The popular thing is almost never the right thing, because the Bible says narrow is the way, right? So let's do stewardship check-in. Did you budget for this week, or are you just winging it? Okay. if you participate in all of the shenanigans of the season, and when I say shenanigans, don't take it as disrespect, but if you participate in all of what goes on in this season, did you plan for this? Did you plan well for it? Not that, oh, yeah, I know it's coming, but did you actually plan for it? Right? Did you actually allocate at the beginning of the year for this time of the year? Or are you winging it? Did you feel pressure to buy, spend, or show up financially? Did your emotions dictate your wallet? Are you anxious about not being able to do enough, particularly in this season? See, these are not just financial struggles, these are spiritual warfare signals. That's what they are, spiritual warfare signals. Okay. And I know some of y'all be like, girl, please, you're doing too much. Nope, not when it comes to serving the Lord. I'm never doing too much, right? Um, and I can say, like, yeah, there is a point where some people go overboard, but this isn't it. All right. This is just simply the truth. All right. So let's move into where we were before we got cut off into our Kingdom Clarity segment. And today, what I'm sharing with you is that the holiday season is Babylon's annual cash extraction ritual. That's what it is. That's what it is. At the end of the day, these businesses do not care what God you celebrate. They don't care, right? They just want you to get involved in all of the hustle and bustle, the fuss of the season. They could care less what God you serve. For them, it's not anything about Christ. If that's who you serve, who and whatever other gods, it is nothing to do with that. Okay, the only God this has anything to do with is Satan, and I'm just gonna keep it real, okay? Because I don't know how else to do it. So you think that Black Friday is about blessing consumers, right? Because oh, everything is on sale, right? I can go get this thing that I was looking at for 50% off. I can go get these other gadgets or whatever for this great price. And so you think that it's a blessing. Yeah, because this is the time where you can get everything for cheaper and you can get maybe two and three and four of them, right? Or you can get everybody's gifts for cheaper. But that's not the truth. The truth is that what this Black Friday is about, it's about resetting corporate profit margins before the year ends. They could care less about you and your family in the God you serve. Okay. My daughter asked me earlier today, what does Black Friday mean? Literally, the term Black Friday. And I said to her, well, this is on this level. It's all about these businesses and whether they're in the red or whether they're in the black. Okay, so if there is a company that has been, you know, struggling, they've been in the red this year, or they're near the red or whatever. This is the time of the year. These are the days. These Black Friday, Monday, Cyber Monday, all of that. These are the days where they're going to count on now getting into the black. Okay. If they were already in the black, then they're looking forward to getting more in the black. Okay. That is all that it's about for these businesses, making money. That's it. Okay. They want to be in the black before the year ends. That's it. All right. And here we are shopping. Oh, this is great because I'm going to be able to bless my, family. And it's this time of year. And we're sitting here thinking that this is what, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it because I can't hold it in. Um, it, as I sit here and I think about it, I'm like, how is it that we say we're celebrating the birthday of our Lord? First of all, it's not his birthday. And he did not ask us to celebrate this day. It's like me going to you and saying, you know what? I know you weren't born on this day, but this is the day that I choose to celebrate your birthday, and I'm going to do that every year. I'm just telling you when I'm going to celebrate you. Who would want that? Like, I would not want you coming to me telling me that you chose a date to celebrate me, and that's the date that it's going to be every year to celebrate my birthday, I should say, right? This is the day that I chose for you. This is the day that you were born, and this is the day that we're going to celebrate it. And we're going to celebrate it by giving gifts to everybody else but you. It's just crazy when we sit there and we begin to think about this stuff. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say on that, right? So it's really about these corporate companies resetting their profit margins, okay? And what do they count on in this season? Well, they count on you overspending. The debt companies count on you using your credit, especially because of the kind of year that we've had, right? We've had a year where there have been companies who have been doing massive layoffs, whether it's for DEI or whether it was for because the companies just aren't doing well or because things in the administration have shifted. And so, so now there's these layoffs or whatever the case may be. Um, we were just hollering about food stamps and all of these things, right? And so now these debt companies are counting on you to use your credit. That's what they're counting on. And guess what people are doing? They're using their credit. Okay? And you can't tell me any different because guess what? It's the work that I do day in and day out, helping people get out of financial mess, right? So the debt companies are counting on you to use your credit. The marketers are counting on you to be emotionally weakened by this season, by the sentiment, right? By the guilt of having to show up in this season with stuff, right? Oh, it's Thanksgiving. All right, everybody needs to bring a dish and do this or do that. Or maybe you in your household, everybody's coming there to you. Nobody's really contributing, right? But there's this pressure because you have been the family to do that. That's the tradition, right? And you maybe necessarily you don't want to spend that money this year, but you're feeling guilty about it, right? The marketers are counting on that. They're counting on you being weakened by sentiment, okay? In other words, the feeling of the season, by guilt, by tradition. They're counting on it. They can count on it because that's how we humans have operated year after year after year. See, the enemy doesn't need to steal your money directly. He doesn't. He only needs to manipulate your emotions. That's all he needs to do. That's it. And this season is all about that. Emotions. Sit down and think about it. Okay. So so be mindful of that in this season. If you are feeling in your heart, and I'm not talking to people who are, okay with all, I'm talking about there are people out there who are literally feeling heavy in this season because they're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I got to get gifts. Oh, family's going to expect us to show up with, this or that, or I'm feeling guilty because, I'm hosting this thing. They're all expecting me to host this thing, but I don't really want to because it's going to put pressure on me financially, emotionally, whatever the case may be. If you're feeling that, listen to yourself. Everybody, they will be okay. They will be okay. Okay. So, another thing I wanted to talk about is the Fed is preparing to inject liquidity back into the economy. Okay. And you might be wondering, does this tie in to what we've been talking about? And yes, it does. It actually very beautifully ties in to everything that we've just been talking about. So the Federal Reserve has been signaling a slowdown of the quantitative tightening, and they're preparing to pump liquidity back in. What does that mean, or what does that look like? Well, remember during the pandemic and then even some time after, like it looks like those stimulus checks coming in to the economy. It looked like back then it looked like the PPP loans and other grants and things like that people could take advantage of so they can inject this money back into the economy so people would spend, right? In other words, they're making money easier to access. That's what they want to do. Okay. They've tightened up for a while. Now they want to make money easier to access. Why? Because um, it's not because the economy is healthy, because the economy is not healthy. But they're doing this because the economy is weakening. All right. The economy is weakening. So when the economy is weakening, then Pharaoh begins to print more money. And that's what it means when I say to inject liquidity. That's what it means when I say that they are slowing down on quantitative tightening. It means that they are going to make it easier to access money, and that they are, because they're printing more money. That's what they're doing. Okay. We're supposed to be paying off debt as a country or whatever, but they're preparing to print more money. So what does this mean for you? That means that there are going to be lower borrowing costs. Okay. Lower borrowing costs. And so for us, we like, yay, right? Because the interest rates are going to come down, right? So that's going to push people to get out there and make those bigger purchases, cars, the homes, the this, the that, the whatever, because the interest rates are going to be low, right? It also means a push to stimulate spending just in general. Okay. People are going to spend more. Um, you're going to have more incentive to take on debt. I was saying that already in terms of, because the interest rates are lower, now you're going to go get in more debt, right? Um, it also means political pressure, right? In an election cycle, because that's where we are. And it also means that this is an environment where the spirit of mammon is going to thrive. The kingdom, if you are a kingdom citizen and you understand stewardship, then you're going to decode this as warfare and not an opportunity. What the world hears is that money is getting easier again. But what the kingdom hears is that this is a distraction. Stay disciplined. In other words, steward. Still steward appropriately. Do not get careless about stewardship. Okay? Do not get careless about stewardship. The same things, for those of you who have done it, because not everybody has done this, but for those of you who have, put measures in place during this time of chaos, right? Those measures don't ease up, they don't change just because now it will appear like things are easier and have gotten better. Okay? So don't be distracted. Stay disciplined. Stewardship is still the name of the game. Following the kingdom principles as it relates to your money will always be the name of the game. I don't care whether the economy is up or down. All right. Okay. Now, let's talk about a little bit more about financial warfare. The financial warfare is subtle. It's not always violent, right? Like when we think of financial warfare and we think of warfare in general, we always think of some big event, right? Something truly devastating that has happened, something tragic that has happened. And oftentimes financial warfare is very subtle. Okay. So the enemy rarely just comes up to you and be like, give me all your money, right? That is representative of the overt tragic thing that can happen to your money. That's very rare. Instead, he's subtle. He whispers, right? Go back to the Garden of Eden when he was first talking to Eve. He wasn't hollering and screaming and all of that. No, it was very subtle, inviting conversation, right? And so, what does that sound like? It may sound like, you deserve this. And that you deserve this is coming in the midst of, because you have already been thinking like, no, it's not the right timing for this. Don't really have the money for this. If I do this, it's going to set me back here, here, and here. Like all that is already going on in your head. And then you hear, you deserve this, right? That's how he comes at you. He'll come to you and say, oh, but it's on sale. And you're looking at your stuff and you're like, yeah, but it's on sale. But I still don't have the discretionary income for this, even though it's on sale, right? It may not be on sale enough for the discretionary income I have, but he'll just whisper to you, oh, it's on sale, it's on sale. So you're like, you know what? I'm gonna take what I have in this discretionary and I'm gonna dip into this other bucket because it will only be a little bit. I'll just take a little bit from there and I'll go get the thing. It'll be fine. And you create, you know, this domino effect warfare. He'll say something to you like, it's the holidays. It's the holidays. You'll fix it afterwards. Come January, you're gonna get on track. How many years have you been telling yourself that? Right? And come January, it's taking you 6, 7, 8 months to get on track. If you ever do, right? Hello, Minister Patrick. Good to see you. Thank you for watching all the way from Kenya. Greetings to you and your family. He will whisper to you, oh, you can pay it off later. Right? You can pay it off later. And what happens later? The company's doing mass layoffs, or you get a reduction in income, or something crazy happens that it always, just takes longer to do because you shouldn't have done it anyway because you didn't have the discretionary income to do it in the first place. But you can pay it off later. You'll figure it out later. You'll work some things, and we like to fool ourselves into thinking that we can work some things. You know what I'm saying? And then, or he might whisper to you, oh, but it's your only chance. This will never happen again. Right? This is serpent speech, y'all. It's familiar. It's comforting. It's familiar and it's comforting. I was having a discussion with someone earlier today on the phone, and we were talking about that familiar. The familiar, okay? The conversation, the atmosphere, the whatever, right? So this is serpent speech. Familiar, it's comforting, and it's deadly because it's going to wreak havoc in your finances, right? Just like in Eden, the enemy's favorite weapon is suggestion. He just makes suggestions. He doesn't force you. We think that financial warfare is something that, we're going to see it coming, and it's this big tragedy in finances, like foreclosures and all these big things, right? And yes, that's part of it, but really, it's all this other stuff that I just said to you, that whisper that just says, but you deserve it. Yeah, don't worry about, what your mind is telling you, like, oh, this is not the right time. This is not it, right? No, but you deserve it. You deserve it. Okay? So that's his favorite weapon, suggestion. His favorite weapon. So let's go deeper. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11 says that you're going to put on the whole armor of Yah so that you can stand against the strategies. In your translation, may say the wiles or the devices of the devil. Okay? The devil has strategies. We have got to stop thinking that he just haphazardly shows up on a whim and does stuff. No, he has strategies. He has strategies. And we're sitting there, we don't have any strategies, but he has them. Okay, so he has strategies. Money is one of them. Proverbs chapter 25-28 says that a person without self-control is like a city with broken down walls. Meaning, if you don't have any discipline, no self-control, no structure, no nothing, you have no protection. You're just out here to be taken advantage of any and everyone. Where self-control is weak, the enemy enters easily, right? And so holiday spending is where most believers lose self-control. Everything's on sale. Oh, but I deserve this. They deserve this. It's just one time. You can catch it up later. All of those things that I said. And if you don't have your armor on, forget about it, right? Haggai 1:6 says, "You eat but are not satisfied. Your wages disappear as though you were putting them in pockets filled with holes." So many believers are financially frustrated, right? Not because of lack. It's not lack, it's because of leaks. And this is what I tell people all the time. Like people think, oh, because I just don't make enough. It's not about how much you make. It's about what you keep and how you're keeping it and how you're stewarding it. That's what it's about. You think you're in lack when you're not really, right? Holiday spending is the number one leak in the kingdom. I want to say it again. Holiday spending is the number one leak in the kingdom. I know some of y'all don't want to hear it. Some of y'all are going to hear it and be like, she ain't talking about nothing. Again, those that have an ear, let them hear. Okay. So let's expose the top attacks that are happening this week, starting today, because Black Friday is no longer Friday. It starts on Thanksgiving Day. And actually, this season, I don't know about y'all, but if you're a Walmart Plus member and all of that, your Black Friday started already. Like you had exclusive access before everybody else has access, right? So let's expose what these attacks are looking like this season. So, one, it looks like emotional manipulation, right? Any sales that are tied to guilt, nostalgia, comparison, manufactured urgency. Okay, only 2 hours left, right? False scarcity creates impulsive buying. Now, certainly there is real urgency for certain things, but all the stuff that's going on right now, these Black Friday sales, Cyber Monday, all kind of stuff, and or you only got 2 hours left. False scarcity, false scarcity. It creates this impulsive buying. Number three, identity-based spending, right? This is where they say, well, good moms buy their kids gifts, right? Or something along those lines. Real men show up with expensive gifts. Got to be mindful of that stuff. Number four, debt disguised as generosity. Okay. Listen, Yah is never calling you to give what you don't have. Even in our churches, because even in our churches, we can be wrong, trying to make people give out of what they don't have, making them feel guilty, even. They don't even have it. Biblically, Yah never calls you to give out of what you don't have. Okay. Number five, social pressure in spending, social pressure to spend, right? These holiday events, dinners, exchanges, all of this stuff is all unbudgeted. And after a while, I had to take myself out of all of that stuff because at one point there was the gift exchange at work. There was the gift exchange, in the community organization I belong to. There was a gift exchange in another organization I belong to. There was a gift exchange, in some small group in the church. There was a gift exchange between the family. There was a gift exchange, like all these gift exchanges, because you belong all to these little people groups. And people think, oh, we're saving money because instead of buying for everybody, we just buy for one person that works for the family. But now you got to do that with 15 groups. Right? And then you feel the pressure to do so because you belong to the group. You want to hold up your end. I need to start pulling myself out of that stuff. Like, no, not doing this. Okay. I'll just not show up on that day. Y'all have fun. Okay. Because by the time you add up everything that you spent in all the gift exchanges, and then there's the potlucks. You know what I'm saying? The work is having their potluck, church is having their potluck, uh, friends giving having a potluck, and then you got this potluck over here and all this dinner and stuff over here. By the time all you add up all of that, and none of it was budgeted, craziness, craziness, right? And so who suffers then? You do, right? So, and the truth of the matter is we put the pressure on ourselves because we're always worried about what people are going to say or think, or maybe they'll think that I'm not part of the group or don't want to be part of the group or don't care about the group or whatever. We put that stuff on us. And so we have this guilt, and then, we try to make things happen that we shouldn't be trying to make happen because we have to deal with the fallout, not them. We have to deal with the fallout. Right? And number 6, you're overspending because of undisciplined emotions. Maybe it's loneliness, maybe it's regret, shame, family pressure, comparison. So the enemy speaks to your heart so that he can reach your wallet, because he wants every area of your life, including your money, jacked up so that you really can't do what you're supposed to do with your money for the kingdom. Because everything God gives us, every resource he gives us, including money, is for the expansion of the kingdom. So if he can prevent you from get you all jacked up in your finances so you don't do that, that's what he's going to do. And it's very subtle. So what are we going to do in this week and in this season? Number 1, you're going to guard your peace. If your emotions are all stirred up, don't spend. Okay? Wait for the emotions to go on somewhere about their business so that you can make good decisions, right? Number 2, stick to your budget. If you don't have a budget, create one today. Don't wait. Okay. Number 3, set a no impulse spending rule, right? Like 7 days. I'm not doing it. I purposely, in this season, I've been doing this for years. I'm like, I'm not doing it. If I'm going to get you something, it'll be in January after all this mess is done, or I will have gotten it already. I'm not doing it in this season. Right? I'm not going to get caught up in all of the hustle and bustle and then the displays and everything when you go in a store. I don't think these people don't know what they're doing. Okay. Number 4, recognize guilt as spiritual manipulation. Number 5, do not finance any holiday obligations. You hear me? Do not finance any holiday obligations. If you can't buy the thing, leave it alone. If you can't buy it outright, leave it alone. Don't put that on no credit card. Don't put, we got a 5-month, 6-month, finance thing. You can finance this, but don't do it. And number 6, give God gratitude. Give y'all gratitude, not debt. Okay. So, Thanksgiving isn't about overeating or overspending. It shouldn't be. Honestly, it's a holiday, not a holy day to begin with. Okay. It is not something that Yah says that we should, that he called us to do. This is man saying this is what we're going to do for Yah. And Yah ain't never needed us to tell him what we're going to do for him. Never has. Okay. He never has. So maybe in this season, you do one of these things. Maybe you delete a shopping app for 7 days. Okay. Maybe you create a budget for this season, stick to it. Maybe you tell one family member, I am not spending this year. I'm not overspending this year, or I'm not spending this year. I'm not doing this year. Right. Unsubscribe for some marketing emails if you feel pressure when you're getting them. Right. And spend 15 minutes in prayer asking, Father, where am I vulnerable to financial warfare? Okay, listen, you're not powerless in this. You simply need a plan that aligns your faith with your finances. Okay, and so Stop Begging God for Money, my book, it was written for this exact season, right? To help people realize what financial warfare truly is, right? It's going to help you break that emotional spending. It's going to help you cut the covenant with mammon. It is going to help you understand how Yah actually moves in money. Okay. So grab it at authorlexijohnson.com. If you don't have the money, don't grab it. It's just that simple, right? But when you get the money and you're serious about getting your finances aligned, then grab it. Okay. And if you know that Yah is calling you to a step into stewardship at a deeper level, financial rebellion is open right now. Okay. Um, it's open right now. And it's just $249. You're not, again, if you can do it, do it. If you can't do it, don't feel the pressure to do it. All right. But you're not meant to navigate this economy in a confused state. You're meant to navigate it with strategy. And that's what financial rebellion will help you to do. Remember, the devil has strategies, plural. And many of us, we don't even have a strategy. One, not even, right? So you can enroll at bit.ly/join the rebellion 2026. Okay. You don't have to be a victim to financial warfare. Okay. You can be a warrior in it. You can conquer this. All right. So that's all that I have for today. Listen, God bless you all. You guys have an amazing rest of your day. And we'll see you next Thursday on another episode of the Radical Godly Stewardship Podcast. Until then, produce, multiply, dominate. God bless.